Jonathan Roumie is preparing for the most intense moment of his entire journey as Jesus in The Chosen. And what he just revealed about Season 6 will shake you to your core. The crucifixion is coming, and he's not just memorizing lines or learning camera cues, no. Jonathan is training his soul. He's physically transforming, mentally preparing, and spiritually surrendering. I don't have expectations. I tried to just live in the moment and come here and say thank you. He says, it's getting rave reviews as one of the top-rated and most talked about shows on television because Season 6 isn't just a new chapter, it's the chapter that will leave us shattered. He says he's been training his body and spirit just to survive what's coming. And if that doesn't terrify and inspire you at the same time, just wait until you hear what Jenkins had to say. Because what's coming in The Chosen Season 6, it's not family-friendly, it's not clean, it's not safe. It's Rayland. It might be the most emotionally devastating thing we've ever seen. When Jonathan Roumie says he's training for the crucifixion, he's not exaggerating. He isn't just studying scripture or practicing emotional expressions in front of a mirror. He's pushing himself to his absolute limits, body and soul. In a recent interview, Jonathan opened up like never before, revealing that he's been undergoing intense preparation just to be able to portray the final days of Jesus. He said, I've been training specifically for this season. That's not just about acting, it's about surrendering. He went on to explain that it's not only the emotional burden that's heavy, it's the physical toll of what he's about to carry. The crucifixion isn't a scene you can fake. You can't just act like you're being tortured, you have to walk into that pain and live inside it. And Jonathan knows it. He said he's been embracing self-sacrifice in order to fully become Jesus during these final moments. That alone tells us how serious this is going to be. What makes it even more powerful and more haunting is the way Jonathan speaks about needing God to guide him through this darkness. He said, pray that I get out of my own way and allow God to just continue to lead me forward. That's not just a humble actor asking for support. That's a man staring down one of the most emotionally devastating portrayals ever filmed and knowing he can't survive it alone. The betrayal, the agony, and the cross are the culmination of the entire journey. This is not just another season, and Jonathan is bearing that burden on our behalf. He acknowledged that he asks himself, how am I going to get through it all? All the time. In all honesty, I believe that we have the same question. As an audience, how will we handle it knowing what's going to happen? What struck me the most is that Jonathan isn't afraid to let us in on how broken he feels. He's not pretending to be brave, he's just being honest. He said he keeps asking God how to stay close during this process and how to stay close even after it's over. That's a confession that hits hard because we've all asked those same questions in our own lives. And now he's carrying those questions into the role of a lifetime. This is about purpose, not performance. It's about honoring the suffering rather than glorifying it. Jonathan is attempting to honor Jesus in every breath, every step, and every heartbreaking moment of Season 6, and that is precisely what he is doing. But here's where things get even more intense. Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen, has made it absolutely clear they're not holding anything back this season. In fact, he warned us. He said, it's not family-friendly. Let that sink in. This is a show that has always tried to be accessible to younger audiences, to families, to people of all ages. But when it comes to the crucifixion, Dallas isn't sugarcoating it. He said if they try to clean it up, they'd be doing a disservice to the story. And honestly, he's right. The crucifixion was brutal, it was messy, it was horrifying. And if they're going to tell the truth, they have to show us the cost of that sacrifice. So if the creator of the show is saying this won't be suitable for younger viewers, that should tell you everything you need to know. This isn't going to be an easy season to watch. It's going to be painful, it's going to be raw, it's going to break us, but it's also going to mean something because we've walked with these characters. We've cried with them. We've hoped with them. And now we're about to suffer with them. Perhaps, however, it is precisely what the chosen wishes to convey to us, that beauty emerges from sorrow. But we must confront the darkness first. What's so terrifying and yet so deeply powerful about The Chosen Season 6 is that we already know where it's going. We know how the story ends, or at least we think we do. But Jonathan Roumie and Jenkins are warning us, we have no idea how hard this is going to hit. Because this time, it's not just about the event of the crucifixion, it's about the emotional weight that's been building for 6 seasons. Dallas recently said something that completely changed how I'm thinking about this. He said, Asterisk, we don't need to show what Mel Gibson showed. We've built emotional connection. That's our tool. Asterisk, and that right there, that's what's going to destroy us. Because we've lived with these characters, we've watched them grow, we've seen their faith rise and fall. And now, we're about to watch their world collapse, and not just any world. His world, Jesus' world, their Messiah, their teacher, their friend, is about to be taken from them in the most violent, humiliating way possible, and we'll feel every second of it. And it's not just emotional preparation they're doing. The logistics of Season 6 are absolutely insane. Dallas confirmed the shoot will take 86 days, 20 days. Longer than previous seasons, and a huge part of that is because the crucifixion scenes are being filmed entirely at night. He said flat out, asterisk, we'll be filming all night through. Can you imagine the emotional exhaustion on top of the physical toll that's going to take on the cast and crew? Jonathan Roumie isn't just acting through this, he's enduring it. Night after night, surrounded by darkness. Suffering through the physical pain of the role while carrying the spiritual weight of portraying the Son of God in his final hours. This isn't something you walk away from unchanged, Dan. Jonathan knows it. He's already said that his greatest challenge isn't the performance. It's getting out of his own way and letting God take over. That is such a raw, vulnerable truth. It's not about pretending to be Jesus. It's about becoming empty enough for Jesus to shine through. The truth is, The Chosen is going somewhere no other Jesus show has dared to go, not just in its storytelling, but in its honesty. It's not skipping over the pain. It's not brushing past the betrayal. It's taking us into the garden, into the courtroom, into the horror of Golgotha. It's doing it through the eyes of people we love. Consider it. Matthew, Mary, Simon, and John will be shown to us as their world falls apart. We will see people run in terror, question their faith, collapse under the weight of loss, and fall to their knees. Jesus will be present for all of it, choosing forgiveness while he is being torn apart and love when they reject him. That difference is what gives Season 6 its realistic and tragic sense. And yet, this isn't a season of despair. It's a season of truth. It's about showing the cost of our salvation not through blood alone, but through relationship, through love, through sorrow. That's what Dallas means when he says, asterisk, this season doesn't need to rely on physical violence. We're going to feel the nails not just because they pierce Jesus, but because they pierce everyone around Jim, including us. Asterisk, because, let's be honest, this isn't just his story, it's ours. We've all failed him, we've all walked away. And yet, he still chose the cross. That's the story they're telling, and that's the story that's going to leave us breathless. And now, with 2 episodes being released as feature-length films in theaters, it's clear The Chosen isn't holding anything back. This isn't just a series finale, it's a cinematic event. They're preparing to break our hearts on the big screen, in surround sound, in the dark, with strangers who will be crying beside us. And honestly, that feels exactly right, because this isn't entertainment anymore. It's an encounter. And Jonathan Roumie, through his training, his sacrifice, and his surrenders, becoming the vessel for that encounter. The question is, are we ready? Because once Season 6 begins, there's no turning back. And when the cross appears, it won't just be Jesus we see hanging there, it'll be every broken piece of ourselves, finally laid bare. The emotional toll that goes on behind the scenes is what makes this season even more intense. Jonathan Roumie is preparing his soul as much as his body. He has been candid about the spiritual toll this pilgrimage takes, and it goes beyond the actual scene of the crucifixion. He does this because he is aware of the pressure this moment carries. I was shocked by what he said. Asterisk, how am I going to handle it all? How can I increase my prayer? In the meanwhile, as I travel this path, how might I grow closer to God? He even said that his biggest concern is not having faith in God. He said, if I'm not trusting him, I'm not doing it right. Because there is more going on here than just cameras and scripts. The statement speaks for itself. It has to do with faith, about compliance, about becoming the vehicle for something so much greater and letting up of everything: fame, comfort, and ego. Jonathan's been training his body, but even more than that. He's been training his heart, surrendering, asking God to help him disappear so that what people see on screen isn't Jonathan, it's Jesus. That takes courage, that takes faith, and that's what makes this season feel sacred in a way no other show ever has. And now, we know that Dallas Jenkins is planning to film the crucifixion scene with full intensity. We can't ignore how brutal it's going to be, he said bluntly. Asterisk, it's not family friendly. That's coming from someone who spent 5 seasons making the show accessible to all ages. So if he's saying this will go beyond that, it means we need to brace ourselves. But what's even more haunting is that Dallas doesn't plan to rely on gore to make us feel the pain. He said, asterisk, we've built emotional connection. That's what we're going to use. Asterisk, and you know what? That's so much worse in the best possible way. Because pain without context is just noise. But pain built on love? That's unforgettable, and that's exactly what's coming. We're going to feel every betrayal, every tear, every scream, not because of what we see, but because of what we've come to love and believe in over 6 seasons. And for Jonathan, this is change rather than merely acting. He is allowing this process to transform him. He is requesting our prayers. He is requesting strength. He has been open about the sacrifice, even stating that in order to be prepared, he had to forego personal luxuries and go through physical training. He remarked, asterisk, there's been a lot of self-sacrifice in order to bring my idea of how I want Jesus to feel and look for season 6. That word feel, asterisk, is everything. Because it's not just about portraying the suffering physically. It's about feeling it emotionally, spiritually. And that's what he's trying to embody, not just the look of Jesus, but the heart, the heartbreak, the quiet power of a man walking toward death, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. And that's where the real weight of season 6 hits, because we're going to see Jesus choosing this path, knowing full well what's coming. And not once does he run, not once does he resist. He walks straight into it for them, for us, for the world. Jonathan Roumie is aware that he must give it his best if he hopes to capture the essence of that moment. He must surrender his own ego, his own control, and his own fear. And by doing that, he is emulating what Jesus accomplished. That's what's so haunting about this season. The deeper you look, the more you realize this show isn't just about watching Jesus. It's about becoming like him. And the cost of that, it's everything. The rest of the chosen cast is also under more pressure than ever before, as Jonathan Roumie bears the emotional and spiritual burden of playing Jesus during his darkest hour. According to Jenkins, this season is the most taxing of the entire series in terms of mental and physical demands, in addition to creative ones. Season 6 is scheduled to take 86 days to film, which is nearly 3 full weeks longer than any season before it. That tells us everything. This isn't just another season. This is the season, the one that everything has been building toward. The moment the disciples fall apart, the world turns its back on Jesus, and heaven itself goes quiet, and the actors and crew behind the camera are giving it their all to capture that suffering. Dallas disclosed that the crucifixion sequences will be shot over several consecutive nights in the dead of night. People are broken by such a demanding schedule, but it's the only way to convey the unadulterated fatigue and the harsh silence of what that moment must have been like. They're living the scene, not just making it. And while many shows might be tempted to rush through the final moments of a character's life, Dallas and Jonathan are doing the exact opposite. They're slowing it down, drawing it out, letting the sorrow breathe. Because this isn't just a dramatic ending, it's the climax of something sacred. Before filming, Jonathan has talked about wanting to empty himself so that God can work through him and he can get out of his own way. Such a surrender is uncommon. Vulnerability like that is terrible. However, it's also what gives his portrayal life. He isn't hiding behind acting or technique. He is exposing all, believing that God will reveal himself in the quiet, in the suffering, in the spaces between each action and speech. And that's what's going to break us. Not just the nails, not just the crown of thorns, but the quiet way Jonathan lets Jesus' suffering creep into every expression. Every breath. To be honest, it will be difficult to see this. The actors are aware of it. The team is aware of it. We are aware of it. This is going to destroy us, not just injure us. Because it's personal this time. For years, we have walked with these characters. Like Mary Magdalene, we have shed tears. We have supported Matthew. Peter's fury, pride, loyalty, and failure have all been followed by us. The reason they will lose Jesus is because they failed, not because he failed. And the guilt that's going to wash over them is something we'll feel too, because even now, we carry that same guilt. The times we've doubted, walked away, stayed silent. And seeing that pain through the eyes of these beloved characters is going to feel like a mirror. A painful one. But that's the power of what Dallas is building. He knows the audience isn't Just watching this story unfold, we're emotionally inside it. And that's why he's taking every detail so seriously, from the lighting to the pacing to the rawness of every scream. Because he's not just telling a story, he's leading us to the foot of the cross. Furthermore, he isn't avoiding the horror of it. He is allowing us to experience every injustice, betrayal, and bloodshed, not to shock us, but to move us, to make us aware of the price, and to get us ready for the next step. Because the crucifixion will, in fact, break us. But it's not the end. Dallas is prepared to test the limitations of the actors and crew for a reason. Jonathan is training harder than ever and giving up everything he owns for a reason. It's because they are aware of what will happen following the pain. But first, we have to face the darkness together. And now, as we prepare ourselves for what Season 6 of The Chosen is about to deliver, there's a strange kind of silence hanging in the air, a sacred pause before everything changes. We anticipate it. The treachery, the gardens, suffering, the trial, the cross. Additionally, something about this retelling feels distinct, even though we have read the narrative and are aware of its conclusion. Heavier, more intimate. Because this time we're not just watching from afar, we're helping them navigate it. As we have seen, Jesus has called each disciple by name. We have witnessed him change their lives. Now, as he is removed from them, we will see them break. Dallas Jenkins and Jonathan Roumie aren't pulling any punches this time. They've made it clear the crucifixion won't be softened. It won't be watered down. It won't be edited to fit into a family-friendly mold. This is going to be real and raw and holy. Because shielding us from the suffering isn't the goal. It is to aid in our comprehension, to sense it, even if it crushes us, to sit in it. Because only then will we be able to fully appreciate the extent of the love that was expressed. Acting is no longer the only aspect of Jonathan's journey. This season, it has evolved into its own spiritual ordeal. He claimed that in addition to his physical preparation, he is also getting ready mentally and spiritually. He's attempting to let go of everything that might stand in the way of what God wants to accomplish through him, not just memorizing lines. That kind of surrender changes a person, and when Season 6 premieres, we will witness the results of that. Every ounce of weight on his shoulders will be felt by us. Maybe it will also show us something about ourselves. Because even if Season 6 will destroy us, it may also cause us to awaken. Something more profound than amazement or despair. Maybe it'll help us reconnect with the gravity of what Jesus endured. Maybe it'll shake loose the numbness we carry. Maybe it'll remind us why the story still matters. And perhaps, just possibly, we will recognize ourselves in the disciples' apprehension and disappointment, and yet find hope in the end. The Chosen has always excelled at that. It gives these holy, age-old tales a new sense of urgency. Alive once more. We are about to witness a version of the crucifixion that may remain with us for the rest of our lives. If Season 6 is to accomplish its goals, the cast and crew are not treating this like just another episode. They know this is sacred ground. They know they're about to tell the most important part of the story, and it says volumes about them that they are being so careful and respectful. It indicates that they're not merely attempting to get by, they're trying to honor it. Therefore, when Jonathan asks for our prayers, when Dallas cautions that this will not be a family-friendly event, and when the crew works around the clock to make it perfect, it's because they know how responsible they have been. And that responsibility is now being progressively transferred to us as well.